Hello guys, look at that. I don't even point to it because it's not going to last very long, but there's a big round thing in the sky that's giving off some heat and loads of light. I don't know what it is. Any ideas? Anyway, let's get on to something more important. So, I reckon, let's move this shit what our lass has put in. Let's have a look at this. So I know this is literally balancing on bits of wood and bits of metal and stuff like that, but this is what I'm thinking. What do you reckon? So obviously there's a couple of things. I would need to make some new inlet manifolds that will match up to the bottom of the carburetor and also to the Thunderace head. The only other drawback as well that I can see is that the throttle, oh, it's going to move now. So the throttle to obviously, whoops, goes like that. If you know what I mean. So the cables, I know this sounds daft. Let me just, the trouble is I don't want to damage these, that's all. That's why I'm being a bit careful. So I'll just put them there a minute. Jesus, getting ladybird on it already, look. So, yeah, imagine that's, oh, I can't even show you on there, can I? It's underneath it. 2 seconds. I know I'm making a bit of a balls up, but let me just put this over my head. So, let me try and show you this. So, imagine that's on the top of the cylinder head. The throttle cable will have to come up from below, if that makes sense. Or I could possibly get 2 of these made, or something like that. Now, I'm assuming, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, that that's how it would go on the bike. Obviously, the throttle cables come like this, don't they? Over the top of the rocker cover, and then down into the centre of the carbs. There, and pull it like that. That's how the motorcycle ones work. With this being a car carburetor, obviously it's slightly different. These are IDF carbs, so they're downdraft ones, whereas your normal Weber ones are sort of like they hang on the side of the engine like that, don't they? Or like that, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So, having them sat up there, I would need to come up with some sort of throttle type cable. Obviously, I'd only need to, because there's going to be 2 of these on. Imagine 2 of these carbs side by side. I could maybe link them together in the centre, and then just have 1 throttle cable going to the centre and doing it. So, by the way, this tape isn't to stop stuff going in the engine, it's just to stop damaging that, because this engine's bare anyway. So, imagine 2 of these carbs side by side, and they're somehow linked, you know, in the middle here. Because you can take these off, so that could come off at that end, and it'd come off at the other end, so you just have 1 in the middle. So, obviously, the throttle cable would have to come up somewhere there, so maybe I'd have to get an extra long throttle cable made, and instead of it coming down under the headstock and then over the top of the engine, it'd have to come down the headstock and then, you see, is it going to get too close to the bloody exhaust pipes then? Or could it come sort of like down and over here somewhere and then under here and then up to that? So there's a lot of planning to do. And all this, you know, I'll be honest with you, all this is, so I've got 230 quid in these, in all these, and, you know, obviously the exhaust, the inlet manifolds, stuff like that. It's a shame they won't fit, but obviously the carbs can't go on like that, so these manifolds would have to be something like that, if you know what I mean. So they're flat on the top, wouldn't they? So maybe I could alter these manifolds, I don't know, but anyway. So all this is to try and save me money, but am I going to end up spending more making stuff and getting stuff made, like cables and inlet manifolds and stuff like that? Because like I say, I definitely wanted a set of flat slides on here, but I'm not paying 1,500 quid just for a set of carburetors. So, and there's always the option of obviously going back to the standard Thunderace ones, isn't there? And getting them jetted up or something like that. That'd be no problem at all then, would it? But like I say, I want to try something different. You know, that's what I do, and if I fail, then I just fucking move on to the next thing, don't I? If it works, then it's a fucking win-win, isn't it? So I think the only real way, to be honest with you, to try this is to maybe stick the valve cover on, and then try and get just one set of you know, manifolds made up, and just see how it sits on the engine, and then you can start working out the brackets and the cable routing and stuff, can't you? If you know what I mean. That's what I'm sort of like thinking. So like I say, I'm guessing, you know, these, because obviously these are matched to the bottom of the carburetor. They're perfect. So one end it'd have to be like that, and the other end would have to be obviously that shape. So you're basically going again as well from a circle down to an oval. So I wonder if, you know, this manifold, the original one, could be sort of like merged onto this new one and sort of like welded up. I suppose so, because if you look at that angle there, so if you look at that angle there, and then if you sort of like line it up there and then drew a line where my thumb is at the same angle as where my finger is, across that new thing, and cut it at that angle, and then got them welded onto that, I suppose you'd be somewhere near them, wouldn't you? So, and I bought these to cut up anyway, to be honest with you, so I'll have to have a think about it. Yes, I think I'll have to have a think. And I believe I've got this at the right angle as well. But I think that the engine number, when the engine's sat in the bike, is more flat. So I need to go on, because look at that. So I think the engine number is sort of like, you know, more level. So I think I need this. In fact, just 2 seconds and I'll just go check. Right, so I've been down to get the angle, and the angle, well, basically the bottom crankcase where it splits needs to be level. That's how it is on the bike, so that's how it is up here. So so getting back to this then, if I just do this, basically the manifold then I've sort of like done. Let me just 2 seconds, let me hold it with my right hand because I'm a bit stronger with my right hand. Well, so basically, if that makes sense, them manifolds I've got need cutting there, don't they? Where that black line is. I'm trying to hold it bloody steady, I can't, it's too heavy. So they need cutting there, don't they? Or should I say at the same diameter as the Thunderace inlets, and then I'll have me downdrafts then. So if I do that and then weld them two together, then that'll be alright, will that, I think. So I hope you can sort of like see what I'm getting at. So what I think one of the things I need to do is obviously measure that internal diameter there, and then sort of like try and find where that internal diameter is in there, you know, in one of these. So that diameter there might be here, it could be up here, it could be down there, it could be up there, couldn't it? Once I find that roughly where it is, then it's a case of cutting them manifolds into it. Don't know, shut up! I don't know what he's barking at. So then it'd be a case of then cutting the manifolds at the angle of the Thunderace manifolds, but making sure that the top of the new manifold is level, is flat basically, and then get them welded again. Then getting them welded together. I hope that makes sense. So I might just have a go at that and see what the crack is. And then, like I say, once I've done that, then it'll be a lot easier to work out, you know, stuff like the linkages, where the wires, you know, where the cable's going to go, etc, etc. And actually, once I've done that, then what I can do is, before I continue any further, is to actually put them on that piece of shit I've got down there under the canopy and see if the tank will close. That's one of the things as well, isn't it? But I don't see why it won't close, because if we get the normal these are just normal Thunderace carbs, bearing in mind that there's rubbers that separate them. You know, look how high they are. They're up. They're up quite high, aren't they? Them, you know, if you imagine the rubbers on as well, so they're up quite high, and just to iron it up, the top of the carburetors was sort of like level with that window frame there. So and they easily fit under the tank. So if I get these the same, right, yeah, it's gonna be a lot higher. Right, anyway, quick update on the carbs.